Good.
10 to 4, ladies and gentlemen. 10 to 4. Should we start?
Should.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Construction Contract. So, Kevin Connor is a builder with over 10 years of experience working with First Nation communities. His experience is supplemented by formal education in civil engineering, nice, architecture and construction engineering, and training in project management, building codes, estimating, and construction management.
Thank you. Okay, so thanks for coming. There's a lot more people than I expected to be here, really. 10 to 4. You guys want to be first in line for the buffet here, so I'll get you out of here as quick as I can. All right. I don't even know how long we're supposed to be here. Maybe an hour. I don't know if it's going to take that long. Do I need this?
Yes.
I don't know if we're going to be here that long. I flew in today from Poplar Hill and I forgot my laptop there. So the particular presentation that I had is hopefully on a plane from Poplar Hill to here today. May not be. So this is something actually goes back many years. This is something I did at Confederation College for architecture engineering students. Okay, so the law hasn't changed since then. So I think if you don't mind, I'll just kind of wing it here best I can. And we'll get you guys out of here in a decent amount of time. So I think we should start by maybe going around and introducing ourselves, say a little bit something about yourself, okay, and why you're here. No, I'm kidding. We'd be here all night. We'd be here all night. Okay. So let's go to the first slide. Okay. Now, so they introduced me there. I've got 30 years or so as a contractor. Right in the name contractor is the term contract. So it's really fundamental to construction. If you ask me, that's just an opinion, but I would say it's pretty fundamental to being a contractor, to have some understanding of contracts. Was that me? Is that what it sounded like? I gotta test the audio. Oh. Okay, so I'm not a lawyer. Okay. If you have a legal question, a legal issue, you go see a lawyer, right? A lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client, right? So you don't try and do your own legal work. I just happen to have many years of kind of contracting. As a result, I've managed to, pick up a few things about contracts. So I know what I know. My experience is pretty specific to me. Everybody has a different experience, right? So I know what I know, and that's it. I just can't say I know everything. I once thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. Seek professional legal advice if you have a legal issue, okay? So, formation of a contract. So if we're going to make a contract, me and you, there's 6 elements that we're looking for in that contract, okay? An offer, that is, I'm going to build the house, right? I'm going to build a house for $10. I'm offering that. He has to accept it. He's got to say, yes, that sounds good. Build my house for $10. That's the acceptance. Consideration is those elements of for me, the consideration is the money or the house. For him, the consideration is the money, right? We'll look at that a little more detail. Legality of purpose has to be legal subject matter, right? I I can't go to court. This guy sold me crack. Turned out not to be crack. So he's breached my contract and I'm taking him to court to get my, what, $100? How much? Come on. So I'm taking that guy to court because that crack turned out to be baking soda. So it has to be a legal subject matter, right? The courts won't support this breach of contract. It is not a legal subject matter, okay? Capacity. Capacity is my ability to enter into a contract. Yeah, we have to have the capacity to enter into a contract. Darko is not mentally really there, okay? Which means Darko can't enter into a contract unless he has the capacity to enter into a contract, right? And intention. I have to intend to enter into this contract, right? An offer is a tentative promise made by one party, requires a return promise by the other party. It requires that the terms be clear and unambiguous. Otherwise, the court may conclude that the parties were still negotiating and have not yet reached the stage of making an offer. All right. So at some point, you got to cut this thing off and say, that's my offer. Very clearly, very unambiguously, that's my offer. Do you accept? Because very often, especially in a house or a building, there could, you know, which is a fairly complex kind of deal. And you're negotiating terms, whether it's, you know, I mean, you're just sitting down negotiating terms, writing letters, calling back and forth. There's suggestions, there's counter suggestions. You got to know when it's time to say, this is the offer. It has to be clear. Because you said to me, oh, it'd be nice to have a skylight in that house. Yeah, that would be nice. That's not an offer of acceptance. I haven't agreed not to put in a skylight in that guy's house. He said, be nice to have a skylight. Yeah, that would be nice. And then what happens, you get on site and he says, where's my skylight? I'm going to sue you, man, because you didn't give me that skylight. Oh, that's okay. Where are you off to? Okay, let's go back. Sorry. So we said the offer has to be very clear, unambiguous. The court can conclude that the parties are still negotiating. You haven't reached that actual offer yet. Same with an acceptance, right? So that has to be very clear, very unambiguous. All right. So in which case, you know what? I mean, if you write it down, right? Get it in writing, right? Then it's clear. You can go back and look at it. You don't have to rely on your memory. He says, you were going to put in a skylight. I said, no, I don't know that. Skylight, what are you talking about? You said you're putting in a skylight. Oh, wait. Oh, and you have to accept the offer wholly or not at all, right? So I'm offering to build a house. He has to accept that offer, particular offer. That's it, right? You can't change the terms of the offer. I bought a motorcycle one time. So nice bike, lovely bike. So before he turned it over to me, he took it for a drive, dumped it, scratched it, right? He says, no, we had a deal. You and I had a deal. You were going to buy that motorcycle for $100. And I said, well, you changed that deal by dumping that bike, right? That's kind of a counter offer. The terms were very clear. That bike for that money. Once he dumped it, it's not that bike anymore. So if you try and change the terms of the offer, it results in a counter offer, right? Which which I can accept or not. So I say to Darko, I'll build the house, you give me $100. Darko says, no, $80. Now, my offer's off the table now, right? He's given me an offer that I can accept, right? In the first instance, I'm offering to Darko to build this thing for $100. He says, no, 80. Now he's offering to me to do it for 80. That's a counter offer. Now I can accept that or reject that, right? Once the counter offer is made, the original offer is out. It's off the table. Illustration. What does that mean? Who wrote this thing? Yeah, so again, this is from 10 years ago. My apologies. So before it can be effective, it normally must be communicated. So in order for him to accept my offer, he's going to say, yes, yes, I accept. He's got to communicate that to me, right? It's prudent to insist on a written acknowledgement in response to an offer. Okay, and then that you're just documenting then that you had an offer, you had an acceptance, now it's documented. Now you've got an agreement, right? And it can avoid some legal arguments about formation. I don't think we're going to talk about formation today. Let's go on. So if the offeree, that's me making the offer, uses my own form instead of one provided by the offeror, I'm sorry, that's the offeree, I'm the offeror. Careful check should be made, okay? So I say, Darko, I'm gonna build that house for $100. He sends the written document back to me, it says $80 in there. So, hey, friggin, what, Yugoslavians, okay? Worse than the Italians. I can't say that anymore, eh?
Please tell everybody.
Yes.
I don't want the wrong idea.
Yeah, I'm 58, so you know this. Yeah, that's my excuse. Okay. So yeah, Darko sends it back to me. It says $80, right? So it's very important then that you check that carefully. Yugoslavians, check it carefully. So, and again, so he sends it back to me, it says $80, right? That's a counter offer now. He's offering to me, I can accept or reject it, right? That's a counter offer. Is everybody getting that? Is it making sense? I'm just here for fun. Oh, can silence amount to legal acceptance? Let's not do that. Okay. Oh, we did this already. Oh boy, we're going through this quick, man. We're gonna be out of here. First in line at the buffet. So this again, so we used to go through case briefs. We're not doing that here today. But there are some interesting cases, case law. Gibbons versus Newfoundland. If you're interested, go have a look at that. Boy, that's interesting. Yeah. Friday night, what else are we gonna do? Huh? Look up Gibbons versus Newfoundland. Okay, lapses. It's revoked or it lapses when any of the following occurs. A time limit expires. Now, Darko and I say, Darko, this is the offer. You've got 30 days to accept. After the 30 days, he can't accept it anymore, okay? Or a reasonable time expires. Now, if I didn't say 30 days, the court would consider what is a reasonable time, okay? Law is all about what's reasonable. The offeror revokes his offer and communicates that before acceptance. So before Darko can say yes, I say, I'll forget it, Darko. I got something else I'm doing. I'm not doing that anymore. Either party dies. The destruction or impairment of the thing that the subject matter of the contract, that motorcycle the guy built, right? It's not the same thing anymore. The offer is no good. My offer to buy that motorcycle is no good because you impaired or destroyed that thing. Revocation, if a bidder makes a mistake, seeks to withdraw or amend his bid. And if and if a tender is irrevocable for a stated time, the offeree is under no obligation to allow either. The offeree is entitled to accept and compel the offeror to carry out the contract. So again, if there's a mistake and I want to withdraw now, Darko, I made an error. Darko, $100 not going to cover it. I need $200, right? But he said it's irrevocable for a certain period of time. So this is tender too, right? Geez, I don't want to get into this. This is different. There's a whole other area of law when it comes down to tenders. And we really don't want to get into that. It's more complicated. What I would like to do is talk about tender law, but we could do it by Zoom or something in a couple of months, okay? Here, we just want to look at the basic principles of law, okay? Of tenders, of contracts. Okay, brief overview. Don't be your own legal counsel, et cetera, et cetera. Right. Consideration is the promise, right? The benefit. For me, it's $100. For him, it's the house. The benefit conferred. Conferred. In order to be enforceable, it requires consideration to support it. Like, I mean, I can't make a contract with him where I do something for him, but he doesn't do nothing for me. Right? It's not really a contract. It's a favor. Most contracts, the exchange of mutual promises provides the necessary consideration. Contract is really a promise, right? This is, I'm promising to build that house. He's promising to pay me. But I mean, that couldn't happen. That might not happen for a year. Might take a year. Must be for some legal subject matter, as we said, right? Okay. In a construction contract, it's the contractor's promise to build and the owner's promise to pay, which makes the agreement binding. The courts will not inquire as to the sufficiency of the consideration. The courts won't save you from making a bad deal, right? If I agree with that guy to build his house for $100, I can't go to court and say, oh, geez, a house is worth $450,000. I can't do it for $100. The court generally won't save you from making a bad deal. Okay. If you made the deal, you made the deal. Okay. Yeah. They won't be concerned necessarily. You can't tell what a court is going to do, but generally, if it's adequate or fair, they won't look at the sufficiency of the consideration. Okay. If the court's satisfied that we agreed, then they'll enforce the contract, right? I agreed to build it. He agreed to pay $100. I'm going to lose my shirt, but tough luck. The consideration is the inducement by which the parties agreed to be bound. And so just a note, in a good contract, both parties benefit, right? So you don't make well, you could, again, he could hold me to that $100, but in a good contract, both parties benefit. I generally tell my subtrades that I want them to make money on a job. I figure if the guy's not making money, he's screwing me somewhere. You know what I mean? He's going to screw me. If he's not making money, he's going to screw me somewhere. So it's best that he makes some money. So it's good for both of us. We both benefit. Okay. Competency. You have to be competent to make an offer, and you must have the capacity to accept it, right? So for certain people aren't competent to accept. A minor, an intoxicated person can't accept or offer an agreement. mental incompetence, Yugoslavians, and the like. Are you guys getting mad at me? Oh. Infants or minors, again, you have to be able to enter into a contract. Some of these contracts, again, could be made voidable at the request of the infant, the minor, or the intoxicated person. They can void the contract after. Corporation is an artificial person, okay? Their consent is given by the seal. So corporation is a person, right? It's just a legal person. So, but it's, again, it's not really a person, right? It's directed by some people. So the legal person's seal is evidence of the corporation's consent. Mentally incompetence, again. Oh, that shouldn't say drunk person. Mutuality. In order for it to be enforced, there must be a mutuality. That is, that Darko and I both intend to be party to the contract, right? We have to have a meeting of the minds, the mens rea. Okay. And our offer and our acceptance must be real and genuine. Mutually agreed to by both parties. We have to agree to identical things, right? It must be actual and not apparent, based on an offer and acceptance without qualification. Again, qualification, if I put in some qualifications to that, it could be actually a counter offer instead of an offer. If I try to accept with other qualifications, it could be a counter offer instead of an acceptance. Yes.
Presentation there about point with contracts when it comes to First Nation making contracts inside the community, urban setting or town, you know, like contractors. Oftentimes they go ahead and move contract, and you see they're binding contracts. Oftentimes the First Nation, you know, don't have time to talk to their consultant, the lawyer, try to see what the contract is all about. And, one of the things that I see happening in my community when it comes to contractors, subcontractors, is the qualification. We were talking about building codes. Do they understand the building codes, for instance? That the contractors that we hire end up screwing this up in terms of renovations for the houses afterwards, like 2 years down the line. And then insulation is back too far, or it was enough insulation, so it's damaged the roof, and therefore that's what I was. How would you, when it comes to hiring these contractors, would that be out of bounds if I asked them for qualifications in their background and work?
No, not at all. Not at all.
And
So
is there a paper, a license?
there is a paper. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Oh, well, there's no license for a builder in Ontario. Okay, it's coming. There is an act now that will require builders to be licensed. I wouldn't expect that that's an act of Ontario. Probably not going to apply at a First Nation. Okay, so when you're looking for a contractor, so this isn't, you know what, this is a whole separate section I do with our guys at IFTA. So, okay, so let's just, we're going to go off on this tangent here for a moment, eh? Is everybody okay with that? So hiring a contractor. So we're just talking about the actual paperwork here, right? But when you're hiring a contractor, yes, do a pre-qualification statement, right? The Canadian Construction Document Committee, document 11B, right, Darko? Is that the pre-qualification statement? CCDC 11, no, that's not. That's the, so CCDC document, contractor qualification. 11 is pre-qualification, yes. CCDC 11, okay, which is contractor's qualification statement, okay? So that's just a form that says, so he fills it out. He says, this is who we are. We're incorporated. We've been working for 30 years. The key people in our organization are engineers and architects and carpenters. Here's the projects we've done in the past, right? Here's the key people we're going to put on your job. Okay. So yes, ask for it. Ontario, I was talking with Jan Eeks about this a while ago. There he is. So again, and we were saying that really anybody can be a contractor in Ontario. Anybody. You don't need experience. You don't need education. You don't need training. Okay. I could make my 18-year-old daughter into a contractor tomorrow. And by Friday, she could be in there screwing with your structure, with your air barrier, with your vapor barrier. There is no requirement for a license in Ontario. It's coming, but it's not here yet. All right. So here's the other thing I say about this all the time. I'm a builder. Okay. So I'm not a carpenter. Very often the First Nations are looking for a carpenter. The carpenter's curriculum allows for about 2 hours of building code. So a carpenter is a specialist in joining pieces of wood together. Okay. That's not always what you're looking for when you're building a house, right? So I'm a builder. As a builder, I'm part carpenter, right? I'm part electrician. I'm part sheet metal worker. I'm part accountant. I'm part lawyer. I'm part engineer. I'm part architect. I'm part psychiatrist, right? That's a builder. All right. So when your First Nation's looking for a builder, look for a builder. Don't necessarily look for a carpenter. Most construction firms are carpenters. The guy who builds a house, he does it the way he's always done it. Okay, funny story. Can I tell a funny story? Have we got time? So I used to frame houses when I was in college with Darko Dimitrojevich. I would go out in the summer and frame houses. So old Italian fella, we're framing a house. So I was putting nails into the bottom plate, into the joist, right? And he said, more nails, more nails. The nails holding the house together, right? So I was explaining to him then that, well, these particular nails are in shear, right? This, the load is the wind load, and that probably those two nails we're probably not approaching the, the sheer capacity of these particular nails. Anyway, he didn't talk to me for 2 weeks after that. So, okay. So again, he knew what to do because that's what he always did. He didn't know the code. He didn't know why he was doing it, right? He just knew that he had to put some nails in there. And boy, more nails, better than less nails, right? So, okay. So a builder, you're looking for a builder, my friend. Yeah. Not necessarily a carpenter. Now, maybe that carpenter understands the code. Maybe he understands the engineering. I hope he does. Yeah. Hey, you can agree to anything you want, right? Or saying in contracts here is that as long as you're a competent person, he's competent, it's legal subject matter, and you've agreed, you can pay him any way you want him. You know what? Pay him after the inspection. Okay. After the inspection, CMHC is doing your compliance inspection, right? Or progress inspection. Progress? Who's doing compliance? Who's looking at this thing saying, yes, this meets the code? Do you? Oh, so technical services is doing that, right? Right on. So again, agree in your contract that the contractor is going to get paid after the inspector has inspected it and said it's good. The inspector. What the? All right, where are you from? Where are you from? Who's your tribal council? No tribal council. So tech services then? Oh, you're outside of Ontario. Oh, you're in Ontario, but you don't have a technical services organization. I know. Well, yeah. That's a big problem, man. That's a problem for everybody. Yes. So in Ontario, yeah, I think if you don't have a tribal council, you can talk to Darko from FNHC, who will provide technical services to you. So Darko will come out there, look at this thing, says it meets the code. That's the best he can do, is say it meets the code, right? Quality is, boy, that's a moving target. Quality is a moving target. It's a rather subjective thing. Yes, very subjective. The material, where you getting it? Spring Hill? Yes. Oh. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's not a problem we're going to solve here this afternoon. I'll tell you, it's been the same since I've been doing it, 30 years. Right? You know, well, geez, there was a time, you know, I was building houses on reserve. I was building high energy efficient houses. We were building R40 walls, R65 ceilings. We were blower door testing those things below 1 air change per hour. So, and you know what, this is what I thought CMHC wanted from us. So that's what we did, right? And so at the time I was telling everybody, boy, they build good houses on reserve. You know, Christ, they're better than the house you're building over there in Parkdale. But I guess that wasn't happening everywhere, unfortunately. All right. So anyway, again, that is a builder problem. Get yourself a builder, right? Who understands the engineering, the architecture, the materials. So I was up in Poplar Hill. I just flew in here this afternoon, but they use those 12 by 12 ceiling tiles, you know, put strapping on, then the 12 by 12 ceiling tiles. But that ceiling tile is some sort of pressed wood, pressed fiber, right? So if I was doing an experiment to grow mold, what I would do is I would take some fiber and press it, put it on the ceiling where all the moisture is. Oh, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? Seriously, that's what I would do. In order to grow mold, that's exactly what I would do. All right, let's go back to this. Any other questions? What time is it? When do you want to get out of here? Oh, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Mistake, fraud, dishonesty. Yeah, fraud. Revocation, death or insanity. Misrepresentation, when one party makes a statement which he believes to be true, but is in fact not true. The other party relies on it and enters into the contract. Okay. The holding or non-disclosure of a fact. Material fact, again, material meaning kind of important to this particular ongoing discussion, right? Under obligation to disclose the fact. Fraud is a deception. Fraud is fraud. Everybody understands fraud, right? Willful assertion of facts that are untrue. You're a liar. You're lying. Essential elements of fraud. Yes. It's made with the intention of the other acting upon it. Must be relied on by the other guy and induce him to act. He must suffer damages. The party making the representation must know that the representation is false. The representation must concern a part or present fact. A false representation of a material fact. Duress, compelling another by threat or violence to enter into a contract. Yeah. Invalidate the signing. Undue influence, same kind of thing. Contract is voidable. Law of tender. Okay, so this is where we're going to stop on this. Okay. Now, I need to see those PDFs. Law of tender is a whole separate issue. Hey, what the hell? What's going on there? Look at this guy. Oh, oh my God. Fat bastard. Look at him. God damn. What a shame. Okay. There we go. So here's a contract. So again, we have those essential elements. Here's an actual contract, whether good or bad or not. It says an agreement between this guy and this guy. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Do I do this? The contractor shall. So here's where we're getting to. The contractor shall perform the work, right? Build the house, right? Do and fulfill everything indicated in the agreement. Start the work on the 6th day of June, finish by some other date, okay? Now, you'll put a finish date in here, but you can't really hold the guy to it, okay? There's no, this, and again, I would never agree. So if you wanted, then if you're the First Nation, you've decided that, no, Kevin, you're paying a penalty if you don't finish on the 16th. I wouldn't even agree. I would say, forget it. I'm not doing that. Go hire somebody else. Okay. So put a date there. The contractor is going to do what he can to get that date done, but ultimately it's budget. Sulacout is phoning me. Smart. Yeah, they found my laptop. It's about time. So we can't even see this, eh? Okay, so start, finish. It says right here, the contract supersedes all prior negotiations, representations, agreements, as either written or oral, relating in any manner to the work. So we're negotiating for months on what's this house is gonna look like and how much he's gonna pay me. But if it's not now in here, it don't count. It don't exist. And we can amend, but only as allowed for in the contract, okay? And then we list the contract documents. These are the documents: the agreement, the general conditions, the definitions, and then the drawings and or specifications, okay? Those are the contract documents. There's the price. $100, I'm gonna do the house. I'm gonna put something in there about how I'm gonna get paid, right? Now, here's what you're talking about. So why not put in there, you get paid after the inspector says that it meets the code, okay? After the inspection, the inspector says it met the code and it's of a reasonable quality, then we're gonna pay you. Don't use the term quality, again, too subjective. You can't, that just opens the door to all kinds of discussion. All right, payment, I want to get paid, I don't know, the inspector inspects, I want to get paid 10 days after, okay? And then we sign. All payments to the owner, by the owner to the contractor, may be verified. May be verified and approved for a payment by a payment certifier, a payment certifier selected by the owner, okay? The payment certifier will review the invoice and the schedule of value and issue a payment certificate. Okay? Payment certificate, make one up, man. It's at the top of the page, right? Payment certificate. Okay, go ahead and pay that guy this much because I've inspected it and it's good and I'm approving that payment. There is a document somewhere, again, one of those CCDCs, Canadian Construction Document Committee documents. Okay, here's definitions. And again, you want to define as much as you can in here because it's part of the contract, right? So when I say to somebody, I'm going to provide a ramp out front. So what does that mean? Provide means to supply and install. Okay, so as you read through the contract, provide means to supply and install. Supply means supply, install means install. Okay, so it's necessary sometimes to define these words. Because did we have a meeting of the minds when I say provide, but he doesn't know what provide means relative to the contract? Then we haven't had a meeting of the minds. Okay, contract time, change order, substantial performance. Okay. Contract documents. So these are general conditions of the contract, right? Nothing in the contract documents shall create any contractual relationship between the owner and a subcontractor. So the owner enters into a contract with the contractor. The contractor has contracts with subcontractors. The owner does not have a contract with the subcontractor. Okay. Which means there can't be a breach, right? The subcontractor can't sue the owner. They don't have a contract. The contract is between the owner and the contractor, and then the contractor and the subcontractor. Yeah. The builder is the contractor, general contractor. Okay, what time we got? Is it about time? Contract documents are complementary. What is required by one shall be binding as if required by all. If there's a conflict between the specs and the drawings, then here's the list of priorities, right? Drawings of larger scale have priority over drawings of lower scale, right? Definitions, general conditions. One of the important things here is that the specifications are always listed above the drawings. The specifications are more important relative to the contract than the drawings. Okay, drawings are last on the list. If you've got a conflict somewhere, general agreement, right? Definitions, general conditions, drawings, or specifications, drawings. Drawings are last on the list. Christ, we're not going to get through any of this. Assignment. Neither party can assign the contract. That means I'm not going to take a contract with you and I'm going to take a contract with you for $100. I'm going to give it to Darko for 99. Okay? I'm never actually going to go there. You're expecting me to be there, right? I'm the builder. I'm going to take it for $100. I'm going to give it to my 18-year-old kid for $15, right? She's going to lose money, but I'm not, right? Can't assign that contract like that.
Good question. Does this mean you can only assign certain types of contract to subcontractors?
Yes, that's correct. And I think we talk about that as we go down here. Trade contractors. Concealed or unknown conditions. Once I start digging, man, if I come across a rock, right? Rock, it should be defined. It should be under definitions. It should say under definitions, rock is defined as bedrock and or boulders greater than 1 cubic meter in size. Then we would know. Then we could go, we find a rock, big boulder, we go out there and measure it. It's more than 1 cubic meter, I get an extra, right? It's less than a cubic meter. It's included in my price. Supervision labor, we employ a competent supervisor who is in attendance at the place of the work while the work's being performed, okay? Contractors should provide a supervisor. First Nation labor, let's make sure that some of those guys get a piece of this action, right? We're gonna work every day for those hours. Rentals, we're gonna rent, tipping fees, services, quality control. And again, quality control, adhere to the manufacturer's recommendations with respect to handling, preparation, installation, operation, protection of the product to be incorporated in the work, right? Again, it's a very difficult thing to define quality. We all have a different idea what that means. Okay, but there's other things you could put in there. You could put testing. Say you got to test the concrete. I want a slump test, and I want you to break that thing. I want a ball test on the main sewer line, right? I want an air test on the water lines. So that's write that up under your quality section here. But again, you can put anything you want in there, man. You want the guy to test, put it in here, make him test. Safety, workers' compensation, insurance, right? That's the other thing that happens, right? You hire a carpenter who's going to come build your houses, but he never says anything about whether or not he's covered by WSIB or whether or not he's got insurance. He should have a $5 million general commercial liability policy, and someone's got to put the builder's risk insurance on the thing. So define right here who's going to do it, who's paying for it. Because sometimes the band has like these blanket builder's risk policies. So if I'm the builder, I will go there and say, well, listen, if you got the policy, you guys place it. I'll place the general commercial liability. You guys cover the builder's risk. And if they don't have it, then I say, okay, well, I'll pay for it. Trade subcontractors. All right. Are we done? You done? Finished for today. Been a long day. Okay. What's important? What's important? Again, all of this stuff. Somebody's right to stop the work or terminate the contract. Here's the owner's right to do it. Here's the contractor's got the same right to do it under certain conditions, right? Somebody should, who's paying for temporary heat here, you know, on your job? Somebody's, you know, the code requires the building, the code requires you to protect the foundation from freezing. So if you're building this time of year and you haven't got your heat on, who's going to pay for the temporary heating? Define it in your contract. Same with ventilation, same with power. Warranty, what's the warranty going to be? That's maybe an issue for you. What's the warranty going to be? Have a look at the new home warranty plan. Builders, what is that thing called? Terrian's, they have that standard that they use for quality and for, it's the, Christ. No, Terrian doesn't apply on reserve, but they have a nice warranty thing that you could write in here. Why not write it in here? Don't say Terrian, because they'll come after you. But you can write warranty in here. So you can agree to anything that's legal, right? So agree that that guy's going to give you the same warranty. Well, don't say the same warranty as Terry, and say, I don't know. But yeah, if you want more than 1 year, because that's a standard thing, right? 1 year. Contractor provides 1 year warranty. Well, you wouldn't ask for 5 years on everything. That even the Terrian warranty is only 1 year for a workman-like. Right on. Okay, so the general contractor is giving you 1 year, but you can write into this document here that the general contractor collects warranties and fills them out and submits them for items that have long-term warranty. The washing machine, if it's included, probably has a 5-year parts and labor warranty. Write it in here that he's going to fill those papers out. He's going to collect them. He's going to fill them out. And he's going to send them back to whoever they has got to get them so that your warranty is good. Right? Write it in. Again, the contract, do whatever you want. Okay, that's it. Do whatever you want, as long as it's legal. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you. So that's it. So again, the other thing we can do, we can go a lot further in this, and we should. Maybe we can do it by teams or something like that. I don't know. Did they register for this particular thing? We have a list of people who came to this. Okay, so we can get a hold of you. We can do this again by teams, and we can go a little further because there's this whole other area of law now. When you start to go to tenders, boy, it starts getting really weird. So invites only. I can turn them off on that Teams thing. I can turn the guys off. We don't want to. Okay, ladies, that's it. Head out. I don't have that thing.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Be at the door punching some cards.
Punching cards right here. Hey? Yeah.